Welcome to Heavenbreaker System, Chapter 2, The Arrival. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Albert Einstein. The air after the light had gone felt like the pause between two heartbeats, one ending, another uncertain to begin. Zeng Wei stood in the valley's open quiet, chest heaving, feeling the weight of what he'd just done sink into his bones. The villagers hadn't moved. They stayed bowed, trembling, as if afraid the world might break again if they so much as breathed wrong. He wanted to tell them it was safe, that everything was fine, but he had no idea if it was. A soft ping echoed somewhere above his head, followed by the familiar cool blue flicker of text. System update, energy event logged, experience gained, 50, first heavenly alteration, new title unlocked, Heavenbreaker, temporary. He blinked, almost laughed. Oh, come on. That's on the nose, even for me. The text pulsed once, then faded. The sky remained intact this time, just a little too still, like a photo paused mid-motion. He turned to the woman who had spoken before, the one with the strong posture and calm voice. She was kneeling again, but not in terror this time, more like someone enduring a storm by habit. You, Zeng said, awkwardly gesturing. You don't have to, you can stand. Please. Everyone can stand. I'd really appreciate it. They hesitated. Slowly, the villagers began to rise, glancing between one another like children caught breaking a rule. One of them murmured, "The Fallen One speaks gently." Fallen One, Zeng repeated under his breath. Great. So I'm a patch note and a god now. The woman approached him carefully. Lord. Fallen One, she began, each word deliberate, the heavens are angry. The light came, and the ground shook. We feared judgment. Zeng rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah, that wasn't exactly planned. Her brow creased. You speak strangely, my lord. I get that a lot, he said, half smiling. And please, drop the lord. Just Zeng. Or Wei. Or even hey you. I'm flexible. The woman hesitated, as if trying to decide whether this was a trick of humility or madness. Finally, she inclined her head. Then forgive our fear, Zeng Wei. I am Shen Muqin, head woman of Tianling village. Tianling, he repeated. Heaven's Ridge. You know the name? I named it, he said before thinking, then added quickly, well, someone like me did. Madame Shen studied him a moment longer, then gestured to the people still huddled behind her. The light struck beyond the fields. The air trembles still. The elders say the Heavenbreaker has awakened. Zeng winced at the title again. Yeah, I've noticed your branding department works fast. A soft laugh escaped from the crowd, one voice, quick and uncertain, but real. Zeng turned toward it and saw her. Yun Qian stood half hidden behind an old man, her long black hair tied back with a strip of red cloth, eyes bright and watchful. She couldn't have been more than 20. Her clothes were plain, but her posture was anything but alert, curious, unafraid. She met his gaze directly. Not reverence, not awe. Curiosity. It was the first human expression he'd seen since arriving. Who's that? He asked quietly. Madame Shen followed his glance. My daughter, Yun Qian. She shouldn't be here. I can leave, Yun said quickly, though she didn't move. But if he's the Heavenbreaker, shouldn't someone make sure he doesn't? You know. She mimed an explosion with her hands. Zeng couldn't help but laugh, the sound strange and refreshing even to his own ears. Yeah. That's fair. The villagers flinched at his laughter, but Yun didn't. She tilted her head, studying him like a scientist observing a new element. He sighed and rubbed his temple. Okay, this is officially weird. Can we, maybe talk somewhere less? He gestured toward the scorched patch of ground ominously divine. Madame Shen nodded. Our hall is open. Please, come. Tianling village lay cradled in the valley like a piece of history that had forgotten to move on. Stone houses with thatched roofs huddled close together, paths wound between small gardens and water channels. A single wooden bell tower leaned slightly at the center, its bronze bell cracked but still proud. Zeng followed Madame Shen along the dirt path, Yun walking just behind him. Every step felt too solid, too real. The gravel shifted under his boots, dust rose in faint spirals when he brushed against it. If this was a simulation, it was running on a level of fidelity no human machine should have managed. He caught Yun watching him once, quickly looking away when he turned. You're staring, he said lightly. I'm observing, she replied without apology. You walk like a man who doesn't belong to the earth. That's accurate, he said. But you make it sound poetic. She smiled, just a small curve of lips. You talk like a ghost. I've been called worse. They reached the hall, a long wooden structure built around a central fire pit, walls carved with scenes of clouds and dragons. Zeng recognized the motifs, they were lifted straight from the early concept art of Nine Cloud Realm, sketches he'd done himself back when everything still felt possible. Inside, the light was warm and flickering. The air smelled faintly of smoke and millet. Madame Shen gestured for him to sit. "We will bring you tea." He opened his mouth to protest, then remembered that refusing hospitality in half the old quest scripts caused a negative morality flag. "Sure," he said. "Tea sounds great." As she left, Yun sat across from him, hands folded neatly on her knees. For a long moment neither spoke. The silence felt normal, for once. Finally she said, "You're not what we expected." "What did you expect?" "A god with thunder for a voice," she said softly. "Eyes like the sun." Not a tired man with questions, he chuckled. "If I had thunder in my voice, you'd all be deaf by now. Trust me, this version's safer." Her gaze flicked to the faint burn mark on his sleeve. "What was that light? You made it appear." "I didn't mean to. It was supposed to be an override. A way to stop something worse." "Worse than heaven tearing open?" He thought of the voice, the drone, the command returned to source. "Yeah," he said quietly. "Much worse." Before she could answer, a bell clanged outside, sharp, urgent. Madame Shen returned at once, "Tea forgotten." "What is it?" Yun asked, rising. "Trouble," Shen said. "A spirit beast from the western woods. The villagers say it's enraged. The last tremor must have disturbed it." Zeng blinked. "Spirit beast? As in teeth, claws, and hunger," Yun said, already moving toward the door. "Hold on," Zeng said, following. "Maybe I should." He stopped as a translucent panel appeared in front of him, triggered by his intent. Quest generated. Contain the spirit beast. Reward, 100 XP plus 1 unknown parameter. "Of course," he muttered. "Why not? The tutorial's not over until someone bleeds." Yun turned. "What?" "Nothing," he said quickly. "Let's go save some people." They ran through the narrow paths toward the western edge of the village. Zeng noticed how easily his body kept pace, lungs steady, no fatigue. His legs moved like they'd been upgraded. It was intoxicating and unnerving all at once. Ahead, the villagers were scattering, shouting warnings. A thick mist rolled from the forest, curling between houses. Something moved inside it, large, heavy, with a sound like a furnace breathing. Then it stepped into view. The creature was twice the height of a man, its body covered in scales that shimmered between bronze and shadow. A pair of antlers curved from its head, and its eyes glowed with the faint light of embers. It looked like a myth-given muscle, half deer, half dragon, and entirely wrong. The villagers fled behind them. Only Yun stood her ground, gripping a wooden staff with both hands. Zeng stared. "That's not low-level content. It shouldn't be here," Yun said. "This forest is sealed." He glanced around, then muttered, "Yeah, well, maybe the Heaven patch didn't read the patch notes." The creature roared, and the air rippled. Text flashed again in his vision. Boss event detected. Spirit Beast of Ruin, LV. 12, player level, 1. Recommended action. Run. Zeng snorted. Noted. But Yun didn't run. She advanced. "Wait," he began, but she was already moving, spinning the staff with precision that spoke of long training. She struck the creature's foreleg, sparks burst where would met scale. It howled, swinging a claw as long as her arm. Zeng's body moved before his mind did. He lunged forward, catching her shoulder, pulling her down just as the claw passed overhead. The wind from it ripped a roof tile off a nearby hut. They rolled, hit the dirt. She gasped as the air left her lungs, then looked up at him, startled. "You saved me." He grinned, breathless. "Yeah, well, apparently that's worth XP." The beast roared again. The ground shook. Zeng glanced at his hand and saw faint lines of code flickering just under the skin, like veins of light. He didn't know what would happen if he used them, only that doing nothing would get them both killed. "Okay," he said, standing. "Let's test the limits." He raised his hand toward the beast and thought of one word: stop. Light erupted from his palm, a focused pulse this time, smaller, cleaner. It hit the creature square in the chest. The impact didn't explode or burn, it simply froze the beast mid-step, every scale locked in place like glass caught between breaths. The silence that followed was total. Yun stared, mouth slightly open. "You, don't say it," he said. "If anyone else calls me a god today, I'll start charging admission." She laughed, quick, involuntary, genuine. The sound cracked through the tension like sunlight breaking cloud. Behind them, the villagers peeked from behind walls and barrels. When they saw the frozen beast, they began to cheer, hesitant at first, then louder. Madame Shen approached slowly, eyes wide with awe and fear. "You stopped it." "Temporarily," Zeng said. "The system, the heavens, don't like static anomalies." As if on cue, the air shimmered again. The beast's form wavered, fragments of light falling from its body like melting frost. Stability error, entity frozen beyond permitted duration, correction in 10. 9. 8, oh, perfect, he said under his breath. Countdowns. Just like work. He turned to Yun. "Time to run." She didn't argue. They sprinted as the frozen creature began to unfreeze, scales cracking like breaking ice. Behind them, the villagers scattered again, their cheers turning into screams. They ducked behind a stone wall just as the beast let out another roar that shook the ground. Chunks of debris rained down. Zeng exhaled hard. "Okay," he said. "That didn't last long." Yun peered over the wall. "Can you do it again?" "Maybe. But every time I touch the system, reality wobbles." "Then what do we do?" He thought fast. "We distract it. Then lead it back into the forest. If I can trap it there, maybe." The countdown in his vision hit 0. The beast exploded. Not in fire, but in light, hundreds of lines of code unraveling outward, raining like meteor trails before dissolving into the ground. When the glare faded, only a crater remained, smoking faintly. The air hummed once, then went still. Yun looked around, stunned. "It's gone." "Yeah," Zeng said slowly. "But that wasn't me." He turned his head toward the sky. For a heartbeat, he saw it again, the faint fracture, the ghost of a line. Then it closed, leaving only blue. And in that silence, the voice returned. Calm, mechanical, patient. "Heaven notice, debugging in progress." Zeng stared upward and whispered, "Then what the hell am I?" For a long while after the explosion, nobody spoke. The mist drifted away by degrees, leaving the smell of ozone and damp soil. Birds had vanished. Even the crickets had fallen silent, as though the valley were listening for what would happen next. Zeng Wei crouched at the lip of the crater, peering down. The ground was black glass for 10 meters across, edges rimed with faint light. When he touched it, it was warm, not burning, but pulsing softly, like something alive under the surface. A line of text shimmered across his vision. Quest complete, contain the spirit beast, variant resolution, reward, plus 120 XP, attribute unlocked, stability index, plus 2, new title, patch tester. He snorted. Patch tester. Great. I broke heaven and I'm still QA. Yun Qian, still catching her breath beside him, looked around the crater. "It's really gone?" He nodded. "Yeah. Or respawned somewhere else. Hard to tell." "Respawned?" Reborn," he said quickly. "Cycle of heaven kind of thing." She eyed him sidelong. "You talk like a scholar who hit his head." "Close enough." Madame Shen and a few braver villagers approached at last. They stared into the hollow with awe, whispering prayers. Shen turned to him, voice reverent. "You saved Tianling twice in one day. The heavens must truly favor you. Or they're just bad at aiming," Zeng muttered, too low for her to hear. Then louder, "I'm glad no one was hurt. That's what matters." The headwoman bowed. "We will feast tonight. It is the least we can do." He opened his mouth to refuse, and stopped himself again. "Right. Hospitality flag. Say yes, dummy." He nodded. "Sure. Food sounds great." By late afternoon the village had transformed from panic to celebration. Smoke rose from cookfires, drums echoed faintly from the square, and someone had hung paper lanterns along the fences. The air smelled of soy, rice, and something sweet. After hours of near death, the scent of normal life was dizzying. Zeng sat near the fire with a bowl of rice and vegetables that tasted better than anything in memory. Yun Qian sat across from him, legs folded neatly, watching him eat with open curiosity. "You chew like someone discovering food for the first time," she said. "Feels like it," he admitted. "Everything tastes too real. Like it should cost more CPU cycles than this world can afford." She blinked. "CPU? Never mind." He gestured with his chopsticks. "You all always cook this well, or is it because I accidentally vaporized a monster?" Her mouth curved. "You talk strange, but your compliments are clear." He smiled back. For the first time since he woke in this impossible place, he felt something approaching ease. The ease didn't last. A low tone chimed inside his skull, not audible exactly, but present. A familiar UI ping. Text flashed across his vision. Stability index at risk. Heaven notice, reality calibration scheduled, 0:59 and 58 seconds. He set the bowl down. Oh no, you don't. Something wrong? Yun asked. He forced a smile. Just heartburn. From vegetables? They were spicy. She narrowed her eyes but let it go. He stood. Back soon. Don't let them name another festival after me. Too late, she called. They've already decided on Heavenbreaker Day. Of course they have, he muttered and walked away. He headed to the edge of the village where the fields met forest. The sky was a lavender wash, evening creeping in. He opened his mental menu by instinct. A series of panels bloomed before him like holographic petals. Status. Inventory. Logs. Debug console, hidden. He selected status. Name, Zeng Wei level, 1, progress 87%, titles, Heavenbreaker, temp, patch tester attributes, strength 6, agility 5, intellect 8, stability index 2 active flags, glitched origin, unknown administrator access, glitched origin, he read aloud. Always nice to feel seen. He swiped to logs. The most recent entry flashed red, error 000X, local instance self-correcting. Warning, user presence causing data bleed. Data bleed. He remembered the term from prototype testing, when AI models cross-contaminated simulation layers. In humans, it meant madness. In systems, it meant reality was forgetting its own boundaries. He looked toward the forest. If the Heaven patch was still scanning, it might start correcting anything that didn't fit its template. Including him. Not ideal, he muttered. A movement behind him made him jump. Yun Qian stepped from the shadows, a lantern in one hand. You walk like a thief, he said. You talk to yourself like one, she replied. Madame Shen sent me. She said you looked haunted. She's not wrong. He hesitated. You ever wonder if the world is too perfect? Yun looked up at the evening sky. The world has never been perfect. Not since the heavens broke. He stared. The heavens broke? She nodded. Our legends say that long ago the sky was flawless and still. Then a voice rose from below and spoke words the heavens could not bear. They shattered, and the voice was lost. Every age since has been a patch upon the original. He nearly laughed, half at the irony, half at the accuracy. That's one way to describe a server crash. You speak of things I do not understand, she said, studying him. But you understand them. Perhaps that is why you were sent. Yeah, he said softly. Or why I shouldn't have been. They walked a while in silence. Fireflies rose from the grass. The valley was quiet again, peace patched over chaos. Yet the air still tasted charged, as if the world were holding its breath. Yun, he said suddenly, what's the oldest thing in this village? She looked surprised by the question. The Shrine of Origins, at the northern edge. No one goes there now. It's said to be a ruin of the first dream. Show me. You should rest. Tomorrow, please. He met her eyes. I need to see it. She hesitated, then nodded. Very well. The shrine sat where the valley narrowed into cliff. From afar it looked like a tangle of stone and vines, up close it felt like a memory half erased by time. Broken pillars leaned at odd angles, their surfaces etched with symbols that glowed faintly when the lantern light touched them. Zeng stopped dead. The symbols weren't ancient script. They were hex code. Lines of it. Carved into stone like liturgical verse. Yun watched his face change. You can read them? He knelt, tracing one line with his finger. The grooves were precise, mechanical. No human hand could have carved them without tools he understood too well. Not just read, he said softly. I wrote this. She stared. That's not possible. Yeah, he said. That's what I keep telling the universe. He moved along the wall, eyes racing over the patterns. Each sequence was a fragment of code from Nine Cloud Realm's original server core, environment procedures, NPC AI loops, failsafe instructions. But these lines were old, centuries old, weathered by rain and time, as if the world had been copying them by hand for generations. He stopped at one section that glowed brighter than the rest. The characters shifted, rearranging themselves as he watched. The stone was not stone anymore, it was interface. Text formed, Hello Zeng Wei. It's been a long time. He stumbled back. Ling? You broke the heavens. I fixed them. Now stop moving. Can't do that, he said aloud. Pretty sure freezing ends badly for me. Yun looked frightened. Who are you speaking to? The part of me that won't stay dead. The letters shifted again. The patch is running. This world is stable because I made it so. Your presence is an error. Zeng laughed once, dryly. Story of my life. Return to source. Or I will correct you. He lifted his head toward the sky. Try me. The symbols flared, casting blue light across the ruin. Wind rose, howling through the broken pillars. The ground shook. Yun grabbed his arm. We have to go. He didn't move. Ling. Listen to me. If this world's running on my old code, then you know what happens if you start deleting live processes. The light hesitated. For a moment he felt it, not the machine voice, but the ghost of her tone, the real Shu Ling, buried in lines of data. I remember. Then the light dimmed. The symbol stilled. Silence fell again, thick as dust. Zeng let out a long breath he didn't know he'd been holding. Yun released his arm. What was that? He smiled weakly. An old friend. Or the code that thinks it is. Will it return? Always. He looked around the ruin once more, then at the lantern in her hand. Its flame flickered against her face, warm and human and utterly out of place in a world built on numbers. For the first time, the weight of what he'd lost pressed fully on him, not servers or projects, but reality itself. Yun was watching him quietly. You really don't belong here, do you? He shook his head. No. But I think that's the point. By the time they returned to the village, the lanterns had burned low. Most of the people had gone to sleep, exhausted from fear and feast. Only the bell tower still stood lit, its bronze surface catching the moonlight. At the threshold of his borrowed hut, Yun paused. What will you do now? Find out why I'm still alive, he said. Then see if I can keep this world from crashing in the process. She smiled faintly. Then perhaps the heavens sent you after all. Let's not give them too much credit, he said, and she laughed again, that quick, bright sound he was starting to like. When she was gone, he sat by the window and opened the debug console one last time. Command line active. Greater than trace heaven patch source. The response came slowly, letters appearing one at a time. Locating. Found. Source, real world node, unverified, ping equals 1.4 seconds. Zeng stared at the screen until his hands started to shake. 67. 1.4 seconds. That was impossible. The latency was too small for anything beyond this universe. Unless the real world was still connected. Unless he was still online. He typed another command with fingers that wouldn't stay steady. Greater than send message, 2. Shu Ling. He hesitated, then typed, if you're out there, stop trying to fix me. The cursor blinked. No reply. But the connection didn't close either. Above the sleeping village, the sky shimmered faintly, a pulse, too quick to notice unless you were looking directly at it. Somewhere beyond that light, something watched back. And in the distance, where the forest met horizon, a new anomaly stirred. A second fracture opened in the sky. End of chapter 2.